Hey guys, what's up? This is Casey Weatherman. For those of you who may not know me very well, you guys will quickly find out that blogging and writing is probably not one of the places where God has gifted me the most, but of course talking is. So praise God, I am choosing to take full advantage of that gifting in my life. So I actually got on the computer to actually start typing a blog, and you know, I don't like technology that much sometimes, and of course I accidentally exited out of it without saving it, and so all of the work that I had actually done in that like 20 minutes had all gotten erased. And yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, I kind of gave up, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do a video blog, but I will try again very soon. So the title of my blog was going to be He Gave Me the Least, the Last, and the Lost. And just to kind of give you a little update on how this story came to be about, I'm going to take you back about 2 years ago. I had decided, this was I think on a Monday, I decided to go in to the family video store that we have here just to attempt to entertain myself and rent a movie. And as I was about ready to walk out the door, I saw this girl. And she just really looked kind of just sad and just kind of depressed and lonely. And so then, of course, praise God that I was obedient to the Lord, and He told me to go over and just kind of start talking to her and just kind of figure out what her story was and everything. So I went over there, and her name was Beth. And I found out that she ended up going to the exact same high school as me, and that she was just 1 year in front of me. And she told me that she had walked all the way over from her house to attempt to try to get her little 5-year-old son a movie that he could watch, and just kind of talking to her and stuff and just kind of finding out her situation. She didn't have enough money, and so I offered to pay for the movie for her and then also give her a ride back home. So then I went, and as I was getting ready to drop her off, you know, I just offered prayers to her and just asked her if there was anything that I could pray for her about. And she said yeah, and she said that her mom was really, really sick, and it was really hard trying to support her and her mom and her son in the midst of all of that. And so she just asked if I could pray for that situation. So I did, and I was happy to, and I gave her my number, and I just said, you know, Beth, if there's anything that I can ever do for you, you know, just go ahead and shoot me a call. And so then that was the last time I ever saw Beth. And guys, I'm not gonna lie, even though it was a big blessing that God, you know, put us together in that time, I really didn't think that I would hear back from her at all. And so 2 years later, 2 years had gone by, and this was on the 15th, and I had probably 3 hours to spare before I went into work, and I was doing my laundry, and I'm just like, you know what, God, whatever you want me to do today, I just want I want to be able to glorify you in that, and I just give you my time right now. And so not even 15 minutes after I said that, I got a text on my phone. And of course, oh my word, it was from Beth, that I had not heard from her for years. And she asked me, she's just like, Casey, do you know anyone who has a license? And I said, I'm like, well, yeah, I do. And she's just like, okay. And she's like, well, I was just wondering, my mom, her mom had finally passed away, and she said, I don't have enough money to pay for the house that I'm living in, because my mom was also helping me support and giving me money also. And so she's like, I have to be out within 2 days and moved into this apartment. And she said, you know, I rented out a U-Haul, and I don't have a license though, and so I didn't know if there was any way that you could actually help drive. And so I'm just like, oh my word, praise God. I have 3 hours to spare, so that would be awesome. So I went over there, and we went and we got the U-Haul. If you could only picture me driving a huge truck, yeah, try to imagine that. It's kind of funny. So we end up going there, and supernaturally, I kid you not, I ended up being able to back the truck in the perfect position. So we were just hauling stuff like out the door, and I kid you not, it was about this far away from her house, and it was directly like in front of her doorway. Didn't hit anything. Like, God honestly was like, okay, Casey, step back, I'm gonna park the truck for you. And He honestly did. So it was awesome. So we had all of these like huge items that we had to carry. I don't even know how we got them out the door. Her little 7-year-old was attempting to help us, but so we were working as quick as we could, and we got the heavy stuff out, and we had still a big room full of stuff that we needed to get in the car. And she said, I have to have the truck back tomorrow by 2:30. And so I'm just like, okay. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be up in Ames today. And so hopefully I can ask for some guys to come back and help us, because we had to go up about, there are 20 stairs that we had to go up. Of course it was like this, and so I'm just like, I have no clue how we're going to be able to carry all of this stuff up. So I'm just like, you know, when I go up to Ames, then I will definitely ask some guys if they can come back and help us. So then I go up to Ames asking all of the guys, and none of them could. They just had different things going on. It was finals at school. A lot of them had to study. So as I'm driving back into town the next morning, I'm just like, God, I have no clue how we're going to be able to do this. I'm like, we have all of this stuff. We only have a certain, amount of hours until we have to have it back. She doesn't have enough money to pay more, to get more time leased to us to be able to use the truck. And so I'm just like, what do you want me to do? Well, God gives me 2 people, and one of them, his name's Chris. I met Chris at the House of Compassion when I was doing a prayer walk. And then Barney, I work at Legends American Bar and Grill, and Barney's a regular that comes in. And when God gave me these 2 guys' names, the first thing I think of was in the book of 1 Samuel, when Samuel, they're looking for someone to take place of being a king, and Samuel finds this guy, and he was just like, oh my gosh, God, look at him. He's huge in stature, he's beautiful, he's strong, he's muscular, he just looks like a king. And God said to Samuel, he said, Samuel, do not look at the outside. He said, I do not see the things that man sees. Man sees the outside appearance, but I look at the heart. So when God gives me these guys, I'm just like, God, they're honestly, quite frankly, not strong. Barney has a severe case of diabetes, and so if he doesn't have enough sugar and stuff, like, he gets really weak and he just starts to shake and stuff, and he constantly has to be intaking that. And they're just kind of in bad health. And I'm like, God, are you serious? He's like, just call them. And I said, okay. So I go and I call them up, and I call Chris, and I'm like, Chris, I kind of need a favor of you, buddy. And he's just like, Casey, whatever you want me to do, I'll help you. Honestly, like, you can come pick me up right now. So he is so excited. And I'm like, okay, amazing. So I go and I call Barney, and I'm like, Barney, I have to have a favor of you. And, are you busy? He's like, I'll be over there right in a second. And I realized that when I called these men, they were so excited. And both of them told me, they're like, Casey, we sit at home and we're bored. We never have anything to do. And the fact that I came to them and they felt like they needed to be needed was the biggest thing in the world for them. And I looked at the situation that I was in. I looked at Beth, and I looked at Chris, and I looked at Barney, and I looked how broken their lives were. I looked at how lost they were in their lives. I looked at just how desperate they were to be needed. And I realized that God calls the least, the last, and the lost. And it was the most beautiful thing to see people of brokenness, of the same background, come together and to be able to lift each other up. And it was one of the most rewarding things in the world. It was really, really cool. But you guys, I've never seen more people in my life come together and work together with the hearts that these people had. Barney ended up calling over one of his friends, his roommates, and his name's Doug, and Doug's like in the same condition. They had such a heart. They were tired. It was raining out. All of these flights of stairs, had to carry up a 52-inch TV. I mean, all of these huge, heavy, heavy items that we had to carry up. They never stopped, ever. It was the coolest thing in the world. I ended up being able to pray over Best little boy. They have some really, really hard times in their lives and just places of abuse that they both take on. And I was able to help them with that. And this one kind of surprised me. I was talking to Chris, and and we were just kind of talking about God and talking about the Lord, and there were just some things that he was struggling with in his life, and one of them was sexual